Hey WCMS, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Avery. Today is Wednesday, January 19th, 2011.
So Avery, did you know that Monday, the 17th, was Martin Luther King Jr. Day?
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it?
It was. Maybe you should listen to what the 5th graders have to say about slavery and civil rights.
Hola, I'm Haley, and are you aware of the Middle Passage? Well, during the early 1500s to the late 1800s, the African Americans who would be captured suffered a terrible journey from the coast of Africa to the Americas. The slaves were chained up in the squishiest of boats. During the trip, slaves usually tried to kill themselves before arriving, revolt and escape somehow, or maintain strength for their lives ahead. I don't know about you, but I feel really lucky for not having to be on the Middle Passage. Now for our guest reporter, Grace, with more 5th grade news.
Do you know what it would be like if you didn't have a say in anything? A long time ago, African Americans weren't allowed to vote. A lot of white people thought that if you were different, you should be treated differently. Then in 1865, African Americans were given the right to vote, but there are laws that made it so very few African Americans could vote. There were fees and literacy tests that blocked the right to vote. There was also a law that stated if your grandfather voted, you could vote, and if he didn't, you couldn't. These laws were outlawed January 24th, 1964. This is one of the civil rights given to people in the 60s, thanks to Martin Luther King Jr. We've been reading about this in our small groups. This has been Grace. Now back to the anchors.
Thanks for the info, Grace.
So Avery, do you know any famous Iowans?
Martin Luther King Jr.?
No.
Well, maybe Nick can fill me in.
Hey, this is Nick reporting on our famous Iowan presentation. All the kids in Project Explorer had to choose a famous Iowan and learn about that person. We had to make a riddle and video to present. On Tuesday, January 17th, we dressed up as our person, read our riddle, and presented our video to the whole 6th grade. We could bring props, music, and anything else we could find that would help. We got to learn about John Wayne, the Sullivan brothers, Meredith Willson, Kurt Warner, and many others. It's really amazing how many people from Iowa have become famous. Now here's Grace.
Ni hao, this is Grace with another interesting report. The 6th grade recently finished the subject of ancient China in social studies, where we learned things such as their geography, writing, and the importance of family in their society. Now we're reading stories all about clay soldiers called terracotta figurines that are life-size. So many have been found. There aren't tens, hundreds, but thousands of them. They were protecting something very special. The first emperor of China, Qin Shi, had them built to protect himself in the afterlife. Qin's original plan was to live forever by eating powdered jade and drinking mercury. However, these medicines were actually poisons, from which he probably got very sick and eventually died. If you want to know more, go find your nearest 6th grader and they'll give you the full scoop. Now to the anchors.
China sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it does. You know what else sounds pretty cool?
What?
The Da Vinci exhibit at the Science Center. I heard the 7th graders took a trip to go visit it.
I wish I could have gone.
Me too. Let's go to Mariah to hear how it went.
I'm thinking of a person that is known not only for his scientific discoveries, but also for his artwork and inventions. Who is it? Hey, this is Mariah, and on Wednesday, December 13th, we 7th graders went to the Science Center in Des Moines to visit none other than the Leonardo da Vinci exhibit. Once inside, we went through the multi-roomed exhibit with a packet that was to be completed and turned in to our math and science teachers for a grade. The exhibit included rooms dedicated to war machines, musical instruments, aircrafts, and of course, one of his most famous paintings, the Mona Lisa. While we were there, we also enjoyed watching an IMAX video on the Hubble Space Telescope, an Iowa Skies Tonight presentation, and the pendulum clock in the front of the building. Leonardo da Vinci is a very interesting guy, and I can't wait to go back again. Now here's Gabby.
Hello, I'm Gabby. Have you ever thought you could handwrite a paper and hand it in? Well, not anymore. In Mrs. Pagel's computer applications, we are learning how to format our papers using the MLA style. Mrs. Pagel has taught us the following steps to set up our papers. First, turn on no spacing, and then turn on double spacing. Next, type your name, enter class, enter project name, enter date, and enter. Then you center your title, hit enter, and you're off and running to start your report. We have used this style on 3 practice projects and have already taken our quiz. I'm sure this will be put into good use in the future. Now back to the anchors.
I remember the MLA style. Do you?
Yeah, it has really helped me with some of the papers I've written.
Me too. I'm going to be a professional novelist.
Oh, are you now?
Yes, I am. It was one of my top choices in my career path for guidance.
Well, let's throw it to Sarah to hear more about the career paths.
Hey WCMS, it's Sarah. How many of you can remember what you wanted to be as a little kid? Is it the same today, or do you even know what you want to be anymore? That's sort of what the 8th grade students of guidance are trying to figure out. With the help of the lovely Mrs. Dyer, we will be figuring out a career path to take and learning about opportunities for high school. We started off playing the real game, where we were given the responsibility to role-play a certain lifestyle and career. We then used a career interest game to learn which types of jobs would suit us. Now, we are currently using I Have a Plan Iowa, a very good website that we will be using all the way through high school. Well, I'm off to write my resume. See ya!
Hey, it's Christopher here, and I'm here to report on the Vietnam War we are learning about in language class. The Vietnam War lasted from 1965 to 1973. During this war, over 58,000 American lives were claimed, the 4th highest of any war. The Vietnam War started in the Gulf of Tonkin east of Vietnam, when 2 American ships, the USS Maddox and the USS Turner Joy, were attacked. One of the reasons for the war was Eisenhower's domino theory. This theory stated that if one country fell to communism, other countries would fall as well. At the end of this unit, we will be reading the book Children of the River, which is about a young girl forced to leave Cambodia to the United States because of the Vietnam War, and how she tries to stay true to her Cambodian ways. Well, this has been Christopher, and now back to the anchors.
Our show has come to an end.
Sadly, but never fear.
We will see you next time.
From the middle.
Chained up in the squishiest of boats. During the trip, slaves usually